Peace, quick little think fast. This matter of fact happened now, of course. To realize, of course, indirectly, this kind of speaking to the fact of realizing that everything is just you realize about balance. And when we say balance, I done spoke on this before. It's not necessarily 50-50 balance for everything across the board. You know what I'm saying? Because then we will all be walking around talking the same, like that wouldn't serve the purpose. It's a balance of energies, but it's to our unique soulful self, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't about like, so it could be a 60-40 balance in certain, and it depends on what the energy and who we talking about, whatever the case may be. But you know, what I want to speak to is the aspect of balance with dealing with information. You know, there is a level of lostness you could reach with being open-minded, as far as like being on the extreme and being too open-minded, because then you could just be gullible to all things, you know what I'm saying, and not having discernment. You just like open to all things, and without having a discernment, you could get lost in that energy. But there's also a lostness in being closed-minded and closing yourself off and feeling like, oh, I know everything, I don't need no book or this and that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a balance, because as much as we don't necessarily need books, and as much as we do have an intuition that guides us, and an inner information, it's a balance, and that balance is unique to your soul signature. You know what I'm saying? Because if we haven't learned how to, like dealing with our subconscious, if we haven't learned how to watch, say for instance, watch a certain video of somebody speaking on information, and we're not able to watch that information without, like, so say for when you're watching that, not taking it verbatim of everything that person's saying and realizing, well, hey, they speaking from their unique perspective for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm saying, oh fuck, I don't need no books or this and that, that's more so from my unique perspective. And of course, like, there is a fact that we, again, the information is inside, educate, stemming from the word educare, meaning to draw out, so it's things that are inside of us. But, just making sure to balance things off in the uniqueness of our soul signature, because you might hear somebody, where you favor a lot of the things that they speak on, and they might tell you to say fuck intuition, or they might tell you to say fuck books. Either one, let's just say, what I'm saying, and you sitting there feeling like, well, nah, man, this shit, I see it work for me. I feel the energy of my soul making me resonate with, reading books. I feel my soul making me resonate with going my intuition. Like, what I'm saying? Like, you gotta find your unique energy and how it deals with, certain aspects of energy, you know what I'm saying? But just realizing again, like, well, say for instance, I watch myself go through, again, the experience of it. I get to see from my own experience. All right, I'm more balanced at dealing with my intuition than reading too much. You know what I'm saying? While some people may be more balanced by reading a little more than always dealing with the because I mean, you're always dealing with your inner guidance, and I say always in essence, but I mean for the most part, your inner guidance is that voice is still moving through. Like the example of being in Louisiana, and how the fact that people in Louisiana ain't always on this knowledge of God and chakras and crystals and and Kemet and Hindu, like like people around here don't know nothing about none of these things, but yet when you look at the lifestyle of people in Louisiana and how they carry themselves, indirectly, they lined up with the energy of source, you know what I'm saying? Like, even within ignorance. Now, of course, it's not fully, it's still some aspects that they could grow in or whatever the case may be. But you see that, even without book knowledge, you could still be in alignment with that inner source. And say for instance, all of us are different. Some of us are able to read information with a strong discernment of like, hey, I'm gonna just take away what resonates, whatever my soul spark tells me to take away from this. I'm gonna, take away. I don't say take away, but what information I should retain and deal with, and what information to leave here. Some of us is good at that, while some of us, we go to reading a book or watching a video and we just like we haven't learned how to deal with our guidance on a level where it's like stopping some of the information, like where it's like some information that's not meant for us to hold on to, but we still holding on to it automatically. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not really consciously aware of governing our subconscious and being aware to not take in everything. So some of us may be skillful at, again, like when we reading stuff, like, all right, I ain't taking all this, and even down to the fact of like skimming through books and not necessarily reading it from front to back, in that essence. But some of us are good at that ability, while some of us aren't as well. So it would be better to just stay away from a lot of books in general. You know what I'm saying? Some of us more tapped into intuition, but again, I seen both of them because I saw where you could get too into the books and the vibes to where you're looking for the confirmation and the information through the books when your higher self could be telling you this the whole time, like but because we kind of lack confidence in trusting our higher self and trusting the information that's coming from inside, because we've been programmed to feel like, oh, it has to come from a book externally, it has to come from external source, and that's from spirituality to learning to everything. The society has groomed a subconscious programming of go external to find, and it's like, nah, we got the confirmations, inward, but book knowledge does help, and some of us have that balance aspect of like, dealing with books, and having certain little confirmations, or learning about certain aspects without a book, and leaving what shouldn't be, taken in, where certain things in books or certain literature, or again, or certain videos on YouTube, whatever, may be coming more so from that person's perspective, which is their own unique vibe, and not necessarily meant for us to view things in that perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like again, everything just points back to you embodying your true, soulful, authentic alignment with your higher self. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point where you come across some of my videos and it's like, all right, oh nah, Universal, I ain't digging that aspect of it. I have reverence and respect for you sharing your perspective or whatever, but Universal, I ain't really feeling that vibe of that information. And that's how you should fit, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, we not meant to be around each other agreeing about every single thing every single time, you know what I'm saying? But definitely, with the aspect of, whether you're dealing with your intuition more strongly, or you vibe with the the external information, just finding your own balance that's right for you. You know what I'm saying? We know the pros and cons of our energy. Everything has positive aspects and negative aspects. We know that if we're not careful, when we watching too many videos and read too many books, we could lose our own inner perspective and start just looking at things from the external perspectives. So if we know that about ourselves, then we the type of people that don't need to be reading too much, or need to make ourselves consciously aware how to, deal with information and be sifting through it as we're, receiving it. We high self is like, very strong in the guidance, so letting us know like, hey, all right, now leave that, take that information, because it's a fact on my experience, like where I've watched my higher self guide me throughout both realms of just getting the information internally, and then there's some things where, of course, to some level or form, having a somewhat of a lack of confidence and really dealing with the confirmation from inner self. So it's like, all right, well, here, I'm gonna show you a book that say the same shit that's going on in your mind, but because you know you new to embracing your inner energy, that you know you're still kind of in that stage of just you know using that external aspect as confirmation. You know, even though you already done had the knowing feeling inside you before the book could even say whatever you know it said. But just realizing to find your own balance within your own energy on how to deal with these things. You know, some of us, you know, again, like with me reading of The Power of Now, you know, this book resonates with my soul. Like, you know, it wasn't just me like looking for some type of, oh, I'm just looking for some preacher or some type of, like, nah, you know, the information in this book was really spiritually liberating, you know what I'm saying? And especially when, again, you're reading with that discernment where your higher self, you know, is in tune, you know, and this also comes from the practice of just, you know, listening to your inner guidance more and more. The voice becomes stronger and stronger the more you in the again habitual nature. The more you get in the habitual nature of trusting your inner guidance, the more louder that voice and that essence is gonna come forward, and you're gonna feel it like, yeah, I think I should follow this inner guide. You know what I'm saying? But you know, definitely don't get lost in the sauce of me or nobody else telling you how you should deal with information. You know, of course, I could share from my own experience, and then just knowing the aspect of, you know, on multiple levels, we all different. So some people will vibe a little more again to, you know, literature from books, and because even and show you this, even down to go and get a book or watching a video comes from your inner guidance. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, but there's a level of us, you know, where we dealing with books and certain external information, and almost to a point of almost never trusting our inner guides, and that's when, you know, again, it's getting out of whack. You know. And then they got a level of, oh man, I'm all intuition. I ain't reading a fucking book, this and that. And we could be missing out on little tidbits of, you know, information that could allow for us to expand. You know, because we might have like a pride of like, oh, I ain't trying to take no information from nobody else. Like, fuck that. I ain't trying to gain no information off of somebody giving me an alley hoop. Like, I don't want that alley hoop. You know, cause a book could be like an alley oop if you're familiar with basketball, when one player throw the other person the ball so they could dunk it. You know, cause it's much more easier that way. You know, for that person to run and just go get the ball. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't want that alley oop from the universe. I want to struggle it and thug it out. You know what I'm saying? And which again, we all got different unique vibes. Cause you know, as much as I'm joking like the struggle and thugging out, but in so many words, you know, cause for myself, you know, I have taken not say that harder route, but that route that's gonna make me stronger. You know what I'm saying? Like the route that's not gonna really handicap me. You know, is me going through experience. You know, I experienced being without a house. You know, and I done had me a crib. You know, I done work and I done sustain myself, and you know all these things. So it's not like something, you know, I always had to remind myself of that, like, you know, this is a choice. Like, it ain't like no, oh man, I'm just to a point where I done lost it all and stuff like that. You know, like I always was aware that style of living was a choice, and me just being a hermit of just going within and, you know, seeing what's going on inside me. But, you know, again, just remember that it's unique. We each have our unique soul spark. You know, line up with the way that's best for you, but in a way that you realize and know though that you constantly, you know, ascending spiritually. You know, if you're ascending on the soul level of constantly, you know, having our high moments, constantly growing, you know, constantly gaining more and more alignment with your inner source, inner guidance, inner intuition, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, just making sure you're not lying to yourself with whatever you're doing, you know. But it'll show, you know, it'll show, and especially in these times, it won't take long for it to pop back right in your face, actually. So, you know. Like, say for instance, the moment when you like, oh, I can't see how the sheep will do this and that. The next 5 minutes, you're gonna be doing some shit that don't make sense. Where somebody could be saying that to you, like, I don't see how a person that's that spiritual could still fall for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you gotta, be aware of the words you're putting out there, the thoughts and all this, But and you're only subject to what you believe in too, for the most part. Of course, like I speak on how like we have a collective agreement as souls that, hey, when we eat leafy greens, in this realm of reality, eating dead meat is not going to bring electricity or light into your body, and eating uh, plants will, bring more light. Or, being a breatharian is possible, but we had these things wrote out. So, of course, there's alchemy of like, well, you could eat, whatever, like whatever your subconscious mind is programmed to believe, that's how you can operate. So if your subconscious mind, but again though, this is to and you know better, so like, well, your subconscious is truly programmed to not be like, there's not a drop of negative in your mind. Like, say for instance, where you find a way to program your mind to where you feel like coffee don't harm, like coffee doesn't do harm to my body. Then if you completely got your subconscious in alignment with that thought, then that's how things are gonna operate. The coffee won't affect you because you're so strong in that consciousness of it. Now, this is not telling nobody and giving an excuse to drink coffee, but I am saying we are alchemists. We are capable of transmuting, changing, and transforming, certain aspects of matter due to our subconscious program of our mind, so to speak. But that's basically it. But peace. Man. Happy now. Now's a vibrator course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.